Speaker, my question is to the acting Premier. Speaker, it has now been literally months since this legislature expressed its will to have a select committee of the legislature to look into the Ornge scandal. The government has refused to accommodate that. Then the Public Accounts Committee passed a motion asking for expanded mandate to better do its work to get to the bottom of this scandal. The government continues to ignore that request. Yesterday, we had evidence of why the Public Accounts Committee needs that expanded mandate. We heard once again that a senior person in the Ministry of Health was told in July of 2008 ongoings at Ornge that should have been of serious concern to the Minister of the day. Now we don't even have time to call that witness. I want to know from the government, will they today agree to the expanded mandate of that committee so that we can get on with doing our work?
Deputy Premier.
Mr. Speaker, the Minister of Community and Social Services.
House Leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I think all members of this legislature should recognize the good work that is being done by the Public Accounts Committee. Based on the testimony or the hearings that were heard yesterday, Mr. Speaker, I'm pleased to report that the Public Accounts Committee has sat for 29 hours.
Wow.
They've heard from 33 witnesses. The meeting of that committee, Mr. Speaker, is governed by a motion that was passed unanimously in this House. The committee will continue to meet. They have plans to hear from other witnesses. I would point out, Mr. Speaker, the member used to stand up and say there's not enough time to hear from witnesses. So you know what? The committee finally, as it has the right to do, has changed and will in fact be devoting more hours to those witnesses, as well as the work that's being done by Public Accounts, Mr. Speaker. We're also, it's based on a very comprehensive report that's done by the AG. We have the OPP is looking into it, and we have a piece of legislation in front of this House.
Before we move to the supplementary, I want to remind all members to try to stay within the time allotment for answering and questioning, please. And when I do say thank you, that's the end of your wrap-up. Supplementary.
Speaker, could it be possible that the government is refusing to agree to the additional sittings because it doesn't want to have insiders exposed for their contradictory statements, overt lies to the committee about their lobbying efforts of the government, as we heard yesterday? Is that the reason that the government is blocking the work that the Public Accounts Committee wants to make? I want to hear from the House Leader why possibly would he not be willing to give us the mandate that the committee has requested? What are you hiding?
House Leader.
You know, Mr. Speaker, I don't know if I'm the only one here who finds it ironic that the honourable member whose party has been blocking legislation, has been tying up committees, and is in fact blocking Bill 50, a piece of legislation which will enact the recommendations that we heard from the Auditor General, that he has the gall to stand here today and somehow criticize us as blocking a committee. The fact of the matter is, Mr. Speaker, as I said, 29 hours and 33 witnesses. And you know, Mr. Speaker, if the honourable member wants to hold hearings on the floor of the House, then let's talk again about Kelly Mitchell. Let's talk about this document that I referenced last week on how to lobby the Progressive Conservative Party that Mr. Mitchell was paid $7,000 for writing. Let's talk about the section. Step 1, make peace with Frank Klees. And Mr. Speaker, I know you're saying thank you. I will be happy in the
final supplementary
to quote.
First, I want to thank the House Leader for pointing out that the only member that Ornge was intending to make peace with was with me, because I was getting under their skin for exposing their scandal. That's what that was about. The fact of the matter is that this House Leader continues to block our intention to get to the bottom of how the Premier, how the Minister of Finance, how the Minister of Health was lobbied and told basically in there wasn't even an attempt to hide the fact that they were trying to massage the orange deal past the Minister of Health. That's what was testified to yesterday. I'm going to give the House Leader one more chance. Will the House Leader
Question.
in front of everyone who's watching him agree to stand up and say the Public Accounts Committee will be given all the time that it needs to get to the root of the problem of this orange.
Seated, please. Be seated, please. Be seated, please. Government House Leader.
Again, if the member insists upon having hearings here on the floor of the House, let me continue to quote from this document about how to lobby the PC party. This is my favorite, Mr. Speaker. They will enjoy this. It will be important to tell the Orange story from beginning to present during any meeting narrative and to show how Orange's business model and practices are entirely aligned with the Conservative platform. Mr. Speaker, Kelly Mitchell, one of prominent Conservative lobbyists, someone who raised tens of thousands of dollars from that party, was paid $7,000 to write that. Mr. Speaker, there are questions about Kelly Mitchell and his relationship with Lynn Golding, with Guy Journo, with a whole cast of Conservative.
That'll do. And the member will withdraw. What is the truth? You may finish.
Mr. Speaker, again, 29 hours, 33 witnesses. The committee will continue to meet, and I think it's fascinating, the information that's come forward about individuals like Kelly Mitchell and other prominent Conservatives and what they were doing with Orange. So, Mr. Speaker, if there's anyone who's hiding anything, I don't think you look at this side of the House.
New question. Member from